Imagine competing in one of golf's most prestigious tournaments, where millions of viewers around the world watch your every shot. The pressure is immense. National pride is on the line. The atmosphere is unlike anything else in the sport. And for all of this, you receive exactly $0. Welcome to the paradox of the Ryder Cup, where the world's highest paid golfers compete for free. What if I told you that Tiger Woods, who once earned $12 million for a single exhibition match in Asia, doesn't make a penny for representing his country at the Ryder Cup? Or that Rory McIlroy, who earned $15 million just for winning the 2019 FedEx Cup, plays these intense 3-day matches without any direct compensation? The absence of prize money at golf's most electrifying team event seems almost unbelievable in today's sports landscape. But the reality behind Ryder Cup compensation is far more complex and fascinating than what most fans realize. To understand the unusual economics of the Ryder Cup, we need to go back to its origins. The competition began in 1927 as a friendly match between American and British golfers. Samuel Ryder, a wealthy English seed merchant and golf enthusiast, donated the now famous trophy and gave the competition its name. In those early days, professional golf bore little resemblance to today's multi-billion-dollar industry. Players competed primarily for the love of the game and modest prize purses. The concept of playing for one's country or continent after Europe replaced Great Britain in 1979 was compensation enough in an era before golf's massive commercialization. Fast forward to today, and the Ryder Cup is transformed into a global sporting spectacle that generates hundreds of millions of dollars. The 2023 event in Rome reportedly produced over $200 million in revenue. Television rights, ticket sales, corporate hospitality, and merchandise create an enormous financial windfall. Yet the players who make it all possible still receive no direct prize money. This represents a stark contrast to most professional golf tournaments. For context, the winner of a typical PGA Tour event takes home around $1.5 million. Major championship winners earn $3 to $4 million. Even smaller European Tour events offer six-figure winners' checks. So why do the world's best golfers eagerly participate in the Ryder Cup without financial compensation? The official position from both the PGA of America, which runs the event when held in the United States, and Ryder Cup Europe, which manages it when it's hosted in Europe, is that the Ryder Cup represents the purest form of competition, playing for team, country, and the good of the game. The sentiment is echoed by many players. Rory McIlroy, a European team stalwart, once stated, "The Ryder Cup's about more than money. It's about camaraderie. It's about team spirit. I'd play in the Ryder Cup if I had to pay to play in it." There's another official explanation for the lack of prize money: charity. Both organizing bodies, the PGA of America and the European Tour, are technically nonprofit organizations that reinvest Ryder Cup proceeds into golf development programs. The PGA of America uses Ryder Cup profits to support various initiatives, including growing the game at the grassroots level, funding golf programs in underserved communities, and supporting PGA professionals across the country. Ryder Cup Europe similarly reinvests in developing golf across the continent. But here's where things get interesting. While players don't receive direct prize money, they do benefit financially from Ryder Cup participation in several less obvious ways. First, American players are given $200,000 each to donate to charities of their choice. Half of this amount must go to the PGA of America's Growth of the Game initiatives, while players can direct the other half to charities they personally support. European players receive similar charitable donation options, though the exact amounts are less publicly documented. This charitable component has been in place since 1999, when the controversy surrounding player compensation reached a boiling point. That year, several American players, including Tiger Woods and David Duval, publicly questioned why they weren't receiving a portion of the event's substantial revenues. Mark O'Meara, speaking for several American players at the time, said, "When the PGA of America or the European PGA is making $20 to $30 million off the Ryder Cup, the players say, we'd like to have a say where the money goes." The charitable donation system emerged as a compromise that preserved the event's non-commercial image while giving some players some control over the financial proceeds. Beyond charitable donations, Ryder Cup players receive a substantial perks package. Each team member gets extensive free clothing, equipment, and accessories. These team uniforms and gear often include luxury items like designer suits, high-end watches, custom golf bags, and premium luggage, easily totaling $10,000 to $20,000 per player. A little-known fact, American players also receive 2 first-class plane tickets to the event. luxury accommodation for themselves and their families, and access to lavish team rooms stocked with entertainment options and gourmet food. European players receive similar treatment. While these perks might seem minor to multi-millionaire athletes, they represent a significant upgrade from the early days. In 1969, British player Tony Jacklin recalled having to share hotel rooms and received just a team blazer and a small amount of spending money. The most significant financial benefit of the Ryder Cup participation comes indirectly through enhanced marketability and endorsement opportunities. Standout performances at the Ryder Cup can dramatically increase a player's profile and marketability. Ian Poulter, nicknamed the Postman for his reliable Ryder Cup performances, leveraged his team play success into lucrative endorsement deals despite never winning a major championship. The Ryder Cup made me, Poulter once acknowledged. My performance in these team events has defined my career more than anything I've done individually. Industry experts estimate that Poulter's Ryder Cup performances have added millions to his endorsement value over his career. Marketing executives confirm this effect. John Smith, a sports marketing consultant who's negotiated numerous golf endorsement deals, told the press, "A memorable Ryder Cup performance can increase a player's endorsement value by 20 to 30% overnight. The global exposure and emotional connection with fans are something companies are willing to pay premium dollars to associate with." There's another financial dimension to the Ryder Cup that's rarely discussed: the value of being a team captain or vice captain. While regular team members receive no salary, Ryder Cup captains reportedly receive compensation for their 2-year commitment leading up to the event. The exact figures aren't publicly disclosed, but industry insiders suggest American captains receive about $250,000 for their services. More importantly, a Ryder Cup captaincy dramatically increases a player's long-term earning potential in the golf industry. Former captains receive lucrative opportunities in broadcasting, course design, corporate outings, and brand ambassadorships that can last decades beyond their playing careers. Just look at past captains like Paul McGinley, who parlayed his successful 2014 European captaincy into a prominent broadcasting career with Sky Sports, or Tom Lehman, whose 2006 American captaincy helped him secure multiple course design contracts. The post-captaincy career path often proves far more lucrative than the captaincy itself. Interestingly, there's a significant disparity between how the American and European teams approach the financial aspects of the Ryder Cup. The PGA of America, which runs the American team, generates substantially more revenue than its European counterpart. This creates an uneven financial landscape. When the event is held in America, it produces approximately 70% more revenue than when it's held in Europe. The revenue gap explains why American players have historically been more vocal about compensation issues. When the Ryder Cup is held in the US, the PGA of America can make upwards of $100 million in profit, a figure that has raised eyebrows among players who receive none of it directly. A particularly revealing detail: in 2018, tax filings showed that the then PGA of America CEO Pete Bevacqua earned over $3.9 million in total compensation, a figure that struck some players as ironic given their own lack of direct payment for generating the event's revenue. The compensation question becomes even more interesting when compared to the President's Cup, the golf's other team competition that pits the United States against an international team of non-European players. Unlike the Ryder Cup, the President's Cup explicitly allocates millions of dollars to charitable causes selected by the players. Each team member receives $150,000 to direct to charities of their choice. This transparency about financial distributions has helped the President's Cup avoid some of the compensation controversies that have occasionally plagued the Ryder Cup. The tension around Ryder Cup compensation reflects a broader evolution in professional golf. When the event began, professional golfers were working-class figures who taught at clubs to supplement their modest tournament earnings. Today, they're global celebrities and businesses unto themselves. The transformation has created an inherent tension. The Ryder Cup's organizers want to preserve the event's traditional spirit of playing for pride rather than profit. But then they're asking modern athletes who earn millions for commercial tournament appearances to embrace an amateur ethos in what has become a highly commercialized event. This tension occasionally surfaces. Phil Mickelson raised eyebrows in 2014 when he joked during a press conference, "We play for free, we're not compensated at all, but it's a lot of fun and we enjoy it." That statement, though delivered lightly, highlighted the underlying paradox of the amateur spirit in a professional context. The recent emergence of Live Golf, the Saudi-backed professional league that assigns several Ryder Cup veterans to 9-figure contracts, adds another layer to the compensation discussion. LIV's massive guaranteed contracts have reset expectations around golf compensation. Players like Brooks Koepka, Bryson DeChambeau, and Sergio Garcia reportedly received upwards of $100 million just to join the breakaway circuit. This new reality makes the Ryder Cup's lack of direct compensation even more anomalous in the professional golf landscape. The LIV situation has created eligibility controversies that indirectly relate to compensation. European players who joined the LIV faced fines and suspension from the DP World Tour, formerly the European Tour, making them ineligible for Ryder Cup selection. This has raised questions about whether organizational conflicts over golf's financial future are affecting the composition of teams. Despite the lack of prize money, victory at the Ryder Cup carries tremendous value that extends far beyond immediate financial gain. For European players in particular, Ryder Cup success has historically provided a platform and credibility that translates into global recognition. Colin Montgomerie never won a major championship, but became a household name largely through his undefeated singles record in 8 Ryder Cup appearances. Montgomerie himself acknowledged this. "The Ryder Cup gave me a stage to show what I could do under the most intense pressure. That led to opportunities I never would have had based solely on my individual career." As the Ryder Cup continues to grow in commercial value, the question of player compensation remains open. Some observers believe the current system of charitable donations and indirect benefits strikes the right balance between tradition and modern realities. Others argue that the event generates hundreds of millions of dollars. Players deserve a more direct stake in the success. After all, other team sports competitions like the FIFA World Cup and the Olympics, long bastions of amateurism, now provide substantial compensation to participants. One potential middle ground gaining traction: creating a player's endowment fund that would support golfers who contributed to the Ryder Cup but didn't achieve the financial success of top stars. This would preserve the non-commercial ethos while acknowledging the player's central role in generating the event's value. So, why do golfers play in the Ryder Cup without prize money? The answer is multi-layered. Tradition and prestige certainly play a part. The indirect financial benefits are substantial, if less obvious. And the competitive experience itself offers something that many players consider more valuable than money. As Rory McIlroy put it after Europe's victory in 2018, "The money in golf is so good that you don't need to be playing for $20 million to feel special. The feeling I have right now, you can't buy that." And that's what makes the Ryder Cup so special. Perhaps that's the most fascinating aspect of the Ryder Cup's unusual compensation structure. In an era where professional athletes routinely prioritize financial considerations, the Ryder Cup stands as a rare exception, a reminder that for even the world's wealthiest athletes, some experiences transcend monetary value. The players who compete in golf's most intense team event may not receive a paycheck, but they gain something else: membership in an exclusive club of athletes who have represented something larger than themselves on one of the world's grandest stages. And for many, that exclusive membership and all the tangible and intangible benefits that come with it ultimately proves more valuable than any winner's check could be.